And so today, on this Monday, we are stopping, we're celebrating, we're being silly, we're having fun. We got different backgrounds because we're actually trying to apply in our 2020 context today what Luke 15 would look like. Come, celebrate with me. I'm calling my friends. I'm calling my neighbors. I'm calling you guys and saying, yo, let's rejoice. Let's make some noise because these brothers and sisters of ours were lost, but now they're found. They were dead in their sin, but now they are alive in Christ. And as we kicked off into January, one of the things that I was really working on with our staff, and I know we've got some key servant leaders who haven't been to our staff meetings. We're so grateful for your participation today. But I really went through all of our values and I tried to add a different kind of take on them. And many times I would ask, what does making it better look like? Or how do we actually work together? And I did a talk not too long ago about celebrate constantly. And I said, why should we celebrate constantly? And I just want to remind you of the points, and I want you to consider them today. First thing I said, why we should celebrate constantly is because ultimately the big idea of celebration is that whatever you celebrate gets repeated. And so we're celebrating certain things today, like, man, good job worship team and good job creative teams of putting out a song. Like I want to celebrate that because I want to do more of that during quarantine. I want more songs to show up. I want to bless the world through worship. I'm hoping guys are getting inspired. I want to celebrate the opener. Like, man, what a beautiful way to convey is so relevant, so current, yet tying it back to Waymaker. I mean, just shout out to Greg Burgess. Shout out to the entire worship team for putting the music together. Shout out to all the people in the worship team who sang and the doctors. It's like, well, it's moving, but I want to celebrate it because I want to see that repeated. Shout out to all of our social teams. Like, well, I love the way that they've conveyed this stuff. Did you guys see the Full House clip? Like, what are we talking about? We can't just bypass that so quickly. I was born in 1984. I was raised on TGIF, Full House, Step by Step, Family Matters. The fourth one always was changing. There was like Dinosaur. It was all sorts of weird stuff. But yo, this stuff raised me, man. Speaking my language. You want to honor me? Reference that era. I mean, it's just the whole thing. It's like, I want to celebrate that and stop because literally that stuff will get repeated. I was just thinking about all of the different platforms and the moderators. We're launching different channels right now and things are being activated. Today, right now, we have some of our kids team. They're at CASA putting together content. I want to celebrate that because we're reaching all of the families. I loved seeing you guys post and then referencing the gratitude effect. I love putting legs on a talk, that it's not just some sermon and some talking head. It's like, nah, we're going to actually put the sermon into action. Why? Because we believe that it's information plus application, which creates transformation. And when you guys do that and you let a sermon or a word take on a life of its own and put legs to it, it becomes a movement. And the gratitude effect, this is what the church is about. Dawn Tree put 30 different houses full of donuts. I'm like, who? She's like a real saint. But I can't tell you how many people in our neighborhood have called us and texted us just saying thank you in the conversation. I want to celebrate that because I want to see that repeated. I want to repeat that. I don't know if you guys noticed this past weekend, but like I'm preaching in the room, like in an empty room, but the worship team, shout out to Richie White, they took the thing and they made it feel more like church. They added like drum tracks and like music. I'm just like, I want to celebrate that because I desperately need every trick in the bag to make my preaching better, but it also just felt more like church to me. I want to celebrate it because I want it to be repeated. Whatever you want to repeat, you celebrate it. But 5 things that we talked about was celebration creates connection. Maybe just think about for a moment right now who you've already deepened connection with because of this crisis. Who has your team gotten stronger? I know for many of you, it has. Has your crew gotten stronger? I know my crew is getting stronger because we're making new connections. But when you celebrate, celebration builds momentum. Talk about the idea of momentum. It's like the whole flywheel. It's like you're going up the hill, but then momentum is when you ride that bike down the hill. Momentum is a beautiful thing. I don't know if you guys sense it, but I kind of sense it. It feels like there's momentum on our church. Even the song that we released, we've never seen a song do 40,000 views in a 48-hour window. But I also learned, I'm like, oh, this whole Premiere platform, this is really powerful. We've got 2 more songs right now that we're going to release and that we're going to record and whatnot. I'll tell you right now, we need to have a whole premiere party. We need to get Greg Burgess and we need to get Angel Acevedo. They need to get in full character, and they need to do 15 minutes beforehand, hyping it up, reading comments, talking to the audience, and making it a worldwide premiere. Well, it's like, I just sense momentum. Like, I don't know about everybody else's story. I know about our story. Momentum's like the wind is behind our sails. So direct the sail and the wind's going to blow into it. When we celebrate, when we talk about it, when we keep it going, momentum comes upon us. Celebration, we said number 3 was it develops anticipation. It's like, man, I promise you this much right now. There's new people. We doubled up our attendance this weekend on viewers. There's some new people going, I wonder what VOUS Church is going to provide this week. There's an anticipation. People are going to come onto the stream this week going, wow, that really encouraged me last week. That helped, that flipped my week around. Wow, this post, I'm glad I started following this page. Wow, this content is building something in my life. And so anticipation begins to be developed. Anticipation is the secular word for what I would call is faith. Faith is the intangible stuff. Faith is this thing that we're all after, that we all want, that I think when faith shows up, miracles happen. When faith shows up, the impossible becomes possible. Well, let's develop faith inside of people. Celebration has a part in that. We said number 4 was that celebration highlights progress. And that's what we're going to continue to do. We're just going to continue to highlight the progress. We're not a perfect organization. We got mistakes, but man, we're taking steps in the right direction and we're growing each week. I was on a late night chat. I think it was late on Saturday night with Chris Lopez and Oliver and Sam and Don Shree. We're on a constant thread about all things church online. And I was just thanking those guys and just celebrating them on Saturday night, just saying, yeah, there's still weaknesses about this week's stream. But if you compare this week's stream to week 1's stream, there's just all sorts of improvement. And I'm addicted to improvement. I'm addicted not to being the best. I'm addicted to getting better. I'm addicted to tracking that. And when we celebrate it, when we highlight it, man, people want to be a part of something that's progressing. Why don't we let everybody in the world right now come on the journey of VOUS Church and they can feel like they're progressing with us? Let's document every little thing and let's celebrate it and say, wow, we got better. Let's be honest about the weakness, but let's make sure that we're also saying, but this got better. Let's lead with what got better, because that's what people are going to be attracted to in this time. People feel stagnant. People feel stifled. People feel like, man, when the doors open back up, that's when I can start growing. But VOUS Church gets to convey a different story. VOUS Church gets to shout out, no, you can come on this story. We are actually progressing and you can be a part of it. People go, oh, I want to attach my life to something like that. That's growing, that's getting better. And then number 5, celebration enables fun. And you guys know how I feel about that. We make hard work look fun, and you did that this week. It would be a lie and it would be manipulative if we did not let everybody on this chat know that there was lots of sacrifice, that there was lots of potential threats of frustration that would kick us off the horse, that would stop us or prevent us from moving forward. We confront the brutal facts. This is hard work. This is costing people a lot of time. This is costing people a lot of headspace, emotional energy, mental energy, spiritual energy. But I'm thankful that I'm a part of a team that in the midst of that, they keep a smile on their face. They keep not taking themselves too seriously. They've got graduation caps on. They're doing Zooms in aquariums. They got Thor outfits on. They've got black under their eye. They've got cowboy. It's just, we're making it fun. We're making the best out of it every step of the way. And today it is so important that we celebrate like this. And when we do celebrate, I think we're mimicking Luke chapter 15, because we're seeing people who are far from God come close to God. We're seeing people who are without a community find a community. But we also realize that when we celebrate, man, it creates deeper connections. It creates momentum. It develops anticipation. It highlights the progress and enables the fun. It makes everything more fun. And this weekend, we're starting a brand new collection of talks that I was honestly planning on kicking off January 2021. But in light of what we are in right now, I thought that we would expedite that, because I thought it was the right collection. And the new collection is entitled The Story You Tell Yourself. And the story you tell yourself will be the life that you live. And it is so important as you are at your home, isolated from all of your friends, that you tell yourself the right story, that you talk to yourself. You don't just listen to yourself, that you preach to yourself. You don't just listen to preaching. You worship yourself happy. You don't just watch worship clips. That you're making sure that you are understanding the narrative that's framing up your life. And I just want to make sure I keep coming on Mondays and keep putting hope in front of you, keep putting a bright future in front of us, that this thing is not going to stop us. This thing is not going to end us, but we're going to be more generous. We're going to be stronger. We're going to be better because of it. And I actually believe that we're going to look back one day on this season. It's crazy to say, but I think we're going to say that was a really, really special time. And I think that this time shaped me and I grew from it. And I know I'm growing. I know that I'm getting stronger. And I invite you to come on the journey. And so this weekend, we kick off a brand new collection. I think that after this call, we make sure that we are texting people on our teams and our crews. We're thanking them. We're celebrating them. There's so many people that I can't get to right now that I'm hoping that you carry the heart of this and that you go and thank them. There's so many designers and creatives in all the different departments. There's some people that are serving and opening up their lives to help people and praying with people. I can't thank people enough. I always ask that you'd be getting the people that you can get to and thank them. But we shift gears as we step into this next collection. Let's make this the best collection we've ever had. Let's see this thing go off on YouTube. Let's see more people engaged. Let's watch the subscriptions go up. Let's watch the stories come in, not just from Miami. Let's watch them come in from all over the world. 44 nations were watching church online this weekend. Yo, let's shine right now. Let's give people the good news. And let's celebrate every step of the way. I love you all so very, very much. I am tremendously proud of you. And it's a great honor to serve with you. Dawn Tree, did you want to say anything today?
I just think that everything that you shared, Rich, I'm so grateful for the way that you point our spirits in the right direction so that we can succeed this week. Because our attitude really brings the best progress. And I took that word to heart. I'm just so grateful for every single one of you. I hope you know the way that we talk about you and how much we love you. And I'm just always reminded of the body, how like right now we're walking out what the word of God gives us the picture of the body, that we're all doing our different parts, and what you do is really significant. This weekend, I guess I just want to encourage you, like Easter was a huge outreach, but we don't have to let it stop there. We can hit up the street over instead of our direct street. We can go to another floor in our apartment building and share more love. I just think there are more and more people to love. And I don't know about you, but I'm going to keep doing this every single week. I'm going to make sure if we don't reach out, then who is? We got to continue to evangelize, and we're going to use every resource that we have. On Sunday morning, I let the women who are on staff, I wrote them on our chat that we have, that we kind of talk every day, encouraging one another. But I wrote them that as I was taking the oranges early Sunday morning, because I took donut Saturday, but the oranges were delayed. So I got up early on Sunday and I was dropping them off at people's front doors. I knock and then I leave, because obviously I don't want to make them feel uncomfortable in any way. So I just drop it and leave with the note. But a lady came out and she kind of like wanted to chat, and we were far away from each other, but she was talking from her front yard and I'd left it at her gate. And she said, I'm a grandmother, and I live here with my daughter and my 2 grandkids. And then her daughter came out of the door in this beautiful Easter dress, and she was literally like zipping it up, just stunning lady. And she walked out and she goes, I can't believe that my pastor is on my front porch. She was like, I'm getting my kids ready. I'm putting on my Easter dress, and our family is about to sit down and we're going to watch the early service today. And it literally, I could have just started crying right then, but it just shows you, I would have never known that she lived there. She was on the other side of the street, so it's further away from where I ever walk around the neighborhood. I never walk by her street. I just chose a different path. And here she is, and she's part of our community. The most amazing lady, 2 kids, just like me. And we live down the street from each other. That's just one of too many stories that I've heard this weekend of us finding the similarities. I was walking down the street yesterday with Rich Sunday afternoon, and a lady and her husband were walking their dog. Never seen her in the neighborhood before. Looked at her, couldn't believe it. She is the head of our office for my doctor that delivered Wyatt and Wild. I know this woman very well. Her name is Sarah. Never seen her in my neighborhood before. She goes, Don Cherie, I got the donuts today. My husband and I were going to sit down and watch the 8 p.m. mass. We can't wait. We've signed up. We're coming. And it's stories like that that let me know God's up to something. I encourage you, look in your Bible app and look up the word neighborhood in the Message interpretation, Eugene Peterson's version of the New Testament. Read how many times he gives us the picture of Jesus moving into the neighborhood, of Zion coming, and God actually moving into the neighborhood. This is what's happening around the world. Your house is a lighthouse. So I just want to encourage you, let's continue the gratitude effect. That's not a one-time check the box thing. This is a mandate for our lives. Like, I want to do this with my kids when they can walk and when they can make invitations. God's changing us right now, and it's for the better. So I love you so much. Let's crush this week.